I'm Sabina Persson from Custellence, and welcome to the videocast CX Minutes. It's 6 questions, 6 minutes, and it's all about customer experience. So this is a series of episodes where we bring you actionable insights, practical know-how, and personal stories from top professionals, all in just 6 minutes. And joining me today is Helen Rigamonti. Welcome, Helen. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you here. So, we're going to talk about hands-on customer experience. And as always, my first question is, who are you and what do you do?
I'm a writer and a published author. I teach and I speak about customer experience and customer leadership. And I have a lot of focus, about how internal leadership
Mm,
shows up in the experience the customer feels. So I
right.
spend much of my time helping organizations, helping leaders to
Mm,
see the organization through the customer journey. And I was thinking about that actually when I was scheduled for this call, that I actually review and assess customer
mm,
journey maps for a
yeah.
living because my students are creating them.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, sure. I've been leading customer facing operations for more than 25 years, and
Mm,
I know what it looks like when the inside is not aligned with
mm,
what customers expect.
yeah.
And, my work starts with that idea. I mean, customer
Mm,
feel the outcome of how we lead internally all the time.
yes. So, what's one everyday CX practice that will make the biggest difference, in your opinion?
Well, there's been so much smartness in this series before, so I was trying to think of something that's not already been said, but I
Ah, good.
think it's and maybe try to bring a real customer into into the conversation. Just,
Mm,
being really good with creating the story, the insight, the situation, and not only with statistics and data, but
mm,
a real story about a
yeah.
real person doing the journey, and connect that to what the leadership and the management are talking about. So when leaders in the organization use the
Mm,
customer journey as a daily tool,
yeah.
people start to connect their work with real outcomes because we're struggling with that. I mean,
Yeah.
the leadership is really it's really hard to make everyone see their role in the
Mm,
customer journey. So
yeah.
yeah, so just start with a customer story is a
Mm,
really strong tip, I
mm. Oh, good one. Yeah. And what's one mistake that companies make when they're trying to improve CX, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I meet a lot of students working in organizations as CX
Mm,
professionals, and I see how they struggle with their challenges, and it's almost always connected to the organization
mm.
treating CX as a project,
Yeah.
treating like a department
Mm,
instead of being, the whole organization, the leadership responsibility, some kind of fluffy add-on instead
mm,
of the actual business idea
mm,
about, how do we create customer value in all of our touch points. So
mm.
and also connected to a lot of people try to fix CX through tools or technology, but
Oh, yeah. Mm,
ignores the leadership and the behavior to,
mm,
shape decisions. But yeah, so I think without leaders who consistently act on customer insights
mm,
and, talk the talk, we love to talk about customer obsessions. We love to
mm.
put like lovely CX statements in our
Yeah.
vision statement and
Yeah.
but a
Mm,
few companies actually has a systematic approach to evaluate, analyze, and act
yeah.
on CX data,
Mm,
in the whole organization.
yeah.
So that's something that I see a lot when
Mm,
I
mm.
meet
Good one.
people
So they
in.
talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk, right?
Right. And you can have a couple of ambassadors, but you
Mm,
need to always, have the management team on board. You need to
yeah.
change the leadership, the daily operations
Mm,
so that everyone is on board.
got it. And can you share a story where, a hands-on CX practice really changed things, if you have one?
Yeah, well, sure. I thought about this, and I think that, I mean, I see it all the time that when we put the right people and do like a simple customer journey workshop,
Mm,
it really creates like this aha experiences.
yeah.
But one thing that I remember, one case that I remember a lot is when we put like department heads, like
Mm,
in through in the same room and talked about the customer journey. And those people are
yeah.
really hard to I mean, to get to spend a half day in a room at
Yeah.
all.
Busy.
And but we managed to do that, and it was kind of uncomfortable at
Yeah.
first because
Mm,
um first they you know a lot of them didn't see themselves as a team working towards the same goal.
mm,
A lot of them might even see themselves as competitors
oh,
for
yeah.
you know, in the landscape, in the
Mm,
organizational, internal political landscape. So,
yeah.
but yeah, but when we worked through the customer journey, they saw it became so clear that, okay, we need to collaborate
Yeah.
for the customer together with, I mean, in the journey. So it became kind of a turning point, actually. And we talked about, from a customer journey perspective, we've talked about goals, we talked about
Yeah.
ownership, we talked about leadership, and we talked about mandate.
Mm,
So I think that it's interesting if we can look through, I mean, in a leadership lens, look through
mm,
the customer journey
yeah.
mapping routine and put the right people in that. So that's something that really it changed how they talked, I would say.
Great. Okay. And how do you make sure CX isn't just a theory, but actually gets acted on a daily basis?
Well, I think that it's the everyday like discussions and how do we get this into the culture? I mean, how
Mm,
will this I mean, if we're in some kind of strategic meeting or decision-making meeting,
mm,
how will this affect the customer? To even
mm.
ask that question can be like, oh, that's a really strange question to ask. Now we're looking into internal efficiency, KPI stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just make sure to ask that
Mm,
question, because
yeah.
if you ask that, how will this affect the customer? If you ask that
Mm,
question, it will probably lead to, okay, we don't really know that. So maybe we
yeah.
need to look into what kind of customer insight do we have?
Mm,
Okay, so what kind of goal settings? So just
mm,
ask this question and it will, trickle down and
mm.
start generating new questions, really.
Yeah. 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 No, that's a great one. Absolutely. And my last question is, what is, if you just had, one piece of advice to share with anyone in CX, what would that be?
Well, I think I've talked a bit about this already and a lot together with you. I know that we've
Mm,
been talking about this.
yeah.
So it's about the language. It's about
Oh,
connecting what we do in CX to the leadership and
mm,
management language, and that translate customer problem
mm,
into strategic impact. So
yeah.
talk cost, talk risk, talk about growth,
Mm, mm,
profitability, and build that credibility.
mm,
Not trying to conviction to make other people see stuff, but
mm,
to, I don't know, to make it a part of the language that's already
mm,
spoken in the
mm,
management team.
yeah.
And I mean, we are not just like designing good-looking journeys. We are actually creating and leading. Creating a culture and leading people,
Mm,
so that they can look into their own organization through the customer's eyes.
mm, mm,
So yeah, so I think that's trying to be that, to speak that kind of language,
mm,
but with the what makes us a bit different is that we always focus on the customer in CX. That's what we always do,
yeah.
and that's what we need to learn to teach the rest of the organization.
Mm. I love that one. I think totally agree with you. That's so important to speak, the language that for example, C-level people actually speak. What matters to them? Okay, it's costs. Okay, well, let's focus on that as an
Yeah,
outcome, for instance. Yeah.
and to translate, because it's the translation that we need to, in CX,
Mm,
we need to be great at. I mean, what does
yeah.
this customer problem mean
Yeah.
for our cost, for our growth,
Mm,
for our profitability, ability to always connect those
yeah.
dots. And that's not an easy task. It could be really hard,
Mm.
but the leaking bucket,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and there's holes in our bucket. So what
Mm,
happens if we actually, plug one hole in? What happens in the overall customer
yeah.
base? What does that actually mean in
Mm.
in hard cash, to be honest?
Good. Famous last words. No, that's great. Thank you so much, Helen. Really appreciate your time and the insights that you brought. Fantastic. And I'm sure that this will, resonate with a lot of people working in CX.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to have a quick CX talk. Always
Yeah,
happy to talk CX
yeah,
in
quick
six
and
minutes.
effective.
Yeah.
Super. And that's all for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.